a great question.
To get the response that you want from them, get closer to a yes, find out more about them so that the next close is more natural.
Yeah. So to get a response from them, to get them engaged, could it possibly be that we actually might want to listen? What a concept, right?
For men, especially.
So everybody keeps talking about like, oh, you got to learn your scripts, you got to learn your scripts, you got to learn your scripts. But if you're worried about what you're going to say next, how on earth can you be listening? Right? So, I mean, if you're like, gosh, when do you plan on moving? And you're worried about, oh my gosh, what's the next line on this script? You're not listening to their answer. Right? So we have to give up the idea that we need to be heard and be more concerned about hearing what they have to say. What if you ask a question and the answer isn't what you expected? Wouldn't that be nice to know that? And then you could ask another question, dig a little bit deeper, because you could really be interested. Write that down. Super important. Let's be interested in what other people have to say.
Hmm.
So, how do you know what questions to ask? Use the scripts, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why the scripts, and I don't care whose scripts they are, you know why they're designed the way that they are? If you look at them, they're all questions, and they're designed to be the fastest route to get to an appointment or the fastest route to get to a signature, depending upon if you're on a phone call or if you're in person closing for that signature on a contract. So we're all good when we're children at asking great questions. So think about like a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. My grandson, Shannon and James's 8-year-old, what is their number one question that they like to ask?
But why?
Eggs. Oh, so you've got one too,
No, I've been
huh?
around a long time.
Are, are we there yet?
Right.
Uh,
So why? Oh my gosh. And then somewhere around preteen, teenager, they start getting embarrassed and they're afraid to ask questions. And unfortunately, sometimes parents, oh, don't be so nosy. Don't ask so much. Don't ask so many questions. Don't pry. Well, we kind of have to reteach ourselves what we were taught as children. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be nosy.
yeah.
So, see, because asking questions is not being nosy, is it? When you have a suspect on the phone, right? And you ask them more questions about what's going on in their life, what they want to do, how they're going to solve this problem that they have a house that they don't want anymore. If you ask them questions about it, it honors them and helps them participate in the conversation.
Hmm.
So Mike Ferry told me one time, he said his best attribute, his best personality trait is that he's curious. So maybe put that on your computer screen when you're doing your prospecting. Just be curious.
Hmm.
Another reason that we don't like to ask questions is it means that we have to give up control. We have to give up control of the conversation. And yet, if we do that, it allows the seller to get more involved, the buyer to get more involved, the client to get more involved. Asking questions allows the conversation to move forward the direction you want it to move forward. And it's naturally, if you use the questions on the script, it naturally brings your conversation to a closing, which is what do we want from a conversation with a potential client?
A close.
Right. We either want an appointment or we want a signature. So when you're prospecting in the daytime, and let's say you're doing lead follow-up, right? Everybody know the lead follow-up script? Okay, write this down. Everybody's got to learn lead follow-up script today because I know you're going to do some lead follow-up, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, 80% of your business is going to come from lead follow-up. So it's like the most important part of prospecting. If you're not going to do lead follow-up, don't even bother prospecting. So here it is. Write it down. Super easy. Do you still want to sell your home? Can we set an appointment this week to talk about putting it on the market? That's it. 2 simple questions. You still want to sell your home? Can we set an appointment this week to talk about putting it on the market? Now, let me tell you what it's not. It's not, hi, it's your favorite real estate agent. I know you were thinking about doing something someday, but you had to paint the bathroom and wait till all the stars aligned and do, and wait till rates go down. That is not the script. It's, hi, it's Linda, your favorite real estate agent. Do you still want to sell your home? Great. Can we set an appointment this week to talk about putting it on the market? Great. What would be better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? Right? It's direct. They don't, they don't want to have this long conversation with you. Don't remind them of their excuses. Right? So can you see how that brings out the objections that they have? That might do that, right? It could bring out their objections.
Yeah.
And then what's the problem when we bring out objections?
We don't know
Oh
how to
my
handle
gosh, what do we say? Right?
it.
If they bring out an objection. Okay, so I'm going to give you some pointers on what to say if they bring out an objection, all right? All right, do you still want to sell your home? Well, yeah, but I blah blah blah, right? So the first thing is find out more details about it. Why are you asking? Wow, look at that. Another question, right? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Find out the details about that. Now, if it's a condition, something you can't do anything about, well, I guess then you just got a lead that you got to wait some more time for, right? Or if it's an objection. Well, gosh, you know what? I was thinking about getting the bathroom painted before I put the home on the market. That's the first thing we're going to talk about when I get there. Write it down. That's the first thing we're going to talk about when I get there. Which would be better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? Let's say their objection is, well, how much do you charge? Gosh, you know what? That's the first thing I'm going to do. Let's talk about when I get there. What would be better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? How long is your listing contract? Why don't we talk about that first when I get to your house? What would be better for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4? What do you do to get your home my home sold? What's the answer to that?
Why don't we talk about that when I get there?
Very good. So when do you want to handle objections?
When you get there.
When you get to the appointment, when they have a pen in their hand and they're ready to sign, right?
Mhm.
So can you see that just, if you think about it, your job when you're doing lead follow-up, your job when you're prospecting, your job is to set appointments. It's not to generate a lead, even though you're going to create a lot of leads. Your job is to set that appointment, whether or not it's a buyer appointment or a seller appointment. And your job when you're on a listing presentation is to, what's your job on a listing presentation?
Signature.
Get it.
Get that listing signed, right?
Yep.
Now, if you're on a presentation or you're prospecting and you find that you're getting a ton of objections, and it's like, gosh, I'm really having a tough time closing this. One of 2 things are happening. Number one, you could be talking to somebody with very low motivation. And is there anything you can do about that? Nope.
No.
And then the second thing that could be happening is that you're doing more telling than asking questions. So, and who wants to be told stuff? Nobody,
Nope.
right? So think about how your last presentation went. Think about, did you ask more questions or did you give more statements? Why is it that this happens? Two things. We either don't know what to say, which we have a solution for that, right?
Mhm.
Or we let our ego get in the way and we figure we already know all of it. So we can't let either one of those things happen, right? So how much money do you have to spend on making yourself a better salesperson by building your skills? How much money do you have to spend on that? Not a
None.
dime. Nothing, right? Developing your skills, and it stays with you for decades. And it never goes out of style. So if we can just spend a little bit more time on developing those skills, my gosh, your income, the best thing about this business, this is we get to go do this job, is there's no limit to how much money you can make in this business. So pretty exciting stuff. All right, so what questions, thoughts, concerns can I help y'all with today? You got a Mike Ferry coach for free here today.
Oh my gosh. I got like 4 pages of notes already. Um, I'll tell you one thing that was very powerful that I had not heard ever before. I probably have, but I man syndromed it was don't remind them of their excuses by having a weak opening on the lead follow-up. That is so, so powerful.
So Jason, you remember the call that Mike has on Monday mornings? Every
Hmm.
morning he has a 7 a.m. call.
Yep.
I was on that call this Monday, and this was the topic that he had. And one of the things I asked him, I said, first of all, this may be a dumb question, but and then I asked my question. My question doesn't matter. But what was interesting about it is there are no dumb questions. That was the first thing that Mike told me. They
Yep.
said that having a question in your head, it's okay. And what if the answer you have for the client is not necessarily the right answer? Because you and I, we think, oh my gosh, well, that client's not ready to sell yet because they told me blah, 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 blah. Well, how do we know unless we ask?
Yeah.
Here's another thing about closing for the appointment. Okay, so you're going to ask, do you still want to sell? Yes or no? Notice it's not an open-ended question. It's a closed question. It's not designed for them to talk. It's designed for them to give you a yes. Can we set an appointment next week? That's designed for a yes or a no. Then you ask them what time, Monday or Tuesday at 4, versus can we set an appointment next week for Tuesday at 3 p.m. so that I can get you to sign the listing with me that day? See, there's no way for them to say yes to that. Closing questions are yes and no questions or A and B questions. At the beginning of the script, you're going to have questions that are more open-ended, designed to get people to talk. And towards the end, you want to be closing for yes and no's. Still questions.
That's so powerful. Linda, why do you think that so many agents work with low-mo sellers or buyers? What causes them to do that?
So are you saying why do we work with clients that have low motivation?
Especially when people are new, like they're first getting into the business, right? They're starting to get their groove, they're starting to build skills, they're starting to make their calls. And it seems like maybe a better question is why is busy better than productive? Or why do some agents work with low mo sellers or buyers? Like what causes this, do you think? Is it not enough people in their pipeline. They're not consistent enough on their connects, or could you
Well,
expand on that a little bit?
well, I think if an agent knew there wasn't a high likelihood of them getting paid,
Hmm.
they wouldn't keep that lead.
Right.
But I think it really goes back to skills
Hmm.
and standards.
Yeah.
So because they can't tell the difference between a great lead and a not so good lead. So when I'm coaching an agent that's newer to the business, the first thing I do is I ask them to, talk to as many people as you can and ask them if they want to buy or sell something. If it's people you know, ask them who they know that may want to buy or sell something. Gather everybody that can breathe. Anybody, you keep them on a piece of paper, you pull them out of your computer system, you have them in front of you as a lead, and then you go back and do that lead follow up. Because, see, right now they can't tell the difference between is this a good motivated lead or a not so good motivated lead. I mean, look at you talk to a for sale by owner. Oh my gosh, every single one of them sounds non motivated the first conversation you have.
Yeah.
And then you find out later on that they have to sell in a week or bad things are going to happen. And that's your next listing. So I
Yeah.
think that's why Mike says the most important part of a lead follow up system is a trash can, because 9 out of 10 of the leads that you get, you're going to throw away.
Amen.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Remember he tells a story, I think it was like what, Karen Bernardi, one of his first coaching clients. She walked in there initially and she had a stack of 3x5 cards like that thick, or like 900 names on there. And Mike forced her to go through those, and she was like resting on her laurels that she had this 900 person database, when really there was probably like 10 or 11 in there that were going to do something in the next 7 days, and he told her to throw all the rest of them away.
Yep. Call them all. She set a bunch of appointments and got no listings.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the thing is if you're new to this and you're not sure whether or not you've got a great lead or not, it's all in the lead follow up.
Yep.
And later on, if you do it, as long as Jason has done this, you'll start to get like a intuition, like a little gut feeling about whether or not this person is really motivated. But at the beginning, you just got to keep them all and close them all. If you're that direct, you still want to sell? Can we set an appointment? If you call them every couple days and ask them that, you're going to find out whether or not they're motivated or not.
Why then, as a follow-up call, why are we so if we're going to be that direct, which is obviously my style, and I love that. I love just knowing. I don't like anything hanging out there, which is I think why my lead follow-up is very good. But um why do people not want to hear no, or why are they so afraid to hear no?
Well, so then you don't have that lead anymore, do you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, what if I don't have any leads?
Yep.
I got to
But
go talk to more people.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
But the great thing is in our business,
Yeah.
could you call somebody today, and just, right off the bat, somebody you don't know or somebody you do know, but you haven't talked to in like a month or two. And could that be somebody you could set an appointment with today? Yeah. You don't have to do lead follow up. You could just set the appointment the first time you talk to them. It does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the great part of our business. But 80% of the time, you're going to keep that lead and follow up with them 2, 3, 4 times, and then you're going to set the appointment.
That's especially true. Would you agree with for sale by owners and expired? It's really everybody, but we're not going to get every expired. We're not going to get every FISBO, but we'll get a ton of them if we are the last man or woman standing, calling them every 2 or 3 days, and just asking them the same question. Because eventually they're going to get sick of the process and sick of not being sold.
Think about it as patiently persistent.
Ooh,
Patiently persistent.
I love that. I love that.
So what a fun business. What an exciting business. It's like, you gotta get a fish on the line and then you gotta bring them in.
That is so awesome.
So fun.
I love
So
it.
fun. You
Sky's the
get to
limit.
go to work today.
I get to go to work today. It's the sky is the limit. We just have to keep on it. What about for what advice would you have for, newer agents who don't land an appointment in the first 2 or 3 weeks? What encouragement would you give them? What advice would you give them, etc.?
Very common, by the way, super common. Um, and so you want to do everything you can do to build your confidence in this business, because the confidence will show in your calls eventually. So to build your confidence, the best thing you can do is know the inventory, know the homes that are for sale, know the market statistics. But most importantly, go out there and look at every single home on the market. Look at let's say you're going to make some calls or you're going to door knock into a neighborhood. Make sure you've been inside, physically inside, not a computer, but physically been inside every single home in that neighborhood that's for sale. Then when you're door knocking around an open house or you're calling the people hey, I was in your neighbor's house the other day. Boy, it looks great, but they need to do this, that, and the other thing. How about you? When do you plan on moving? You know something about the market. So if you can preview, every afternoon, if you don't have a buyer appointment, you don't have a seller appointment, go preview some houses. Besides, it's the one thing we can do as real estate agents that other people can't do. The public can't do that, but we can.
Yeah. That's in our launch. We have, 50 to 100 previews. And I think we skip over that because, or we use the excuse that we're rural. There's not a, but what if we went into 10 or 15? Or like what Linda says, like you're going to have an open house and there's 2 or 3 houses around, which inherently there always is. Um, just as a byproduct of people doing the right things and getting those listings, why are we not, previewing them before the open house or the just listed, just sold calls or whatever else, or the farming or the zip code calls or whatever else? It's just so smart to build common ground and have something to talk about. Yeah.
Right. And it really builds your confidence
Yeah.
so that what the market. I mean, think about it. Have you ever worked with a seller that's like been in 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 different homes that were for sale, or a buyer? Gosh, you never want to have a buyer know the market better than you do.
That's right. Powerful. What other questions do you have, guys and gals? Nothing?
Okay, so I have one question for you guys. Um, do you know how to teach yourself how to ask more questions? So
By
Jason,
asking, is that
have
by
you ever
asking
played
another? Sorry.
have you ever played the question game?
So good.
All right, Corey, would you like to play the question game with me?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to answer it and give me an answer, and then ask me a similar but not exactly the same question back.
Hmm,
And we're going to see how far we can go with that.
boy. Okay.
Okay. So, Corey, I'm here at the Northwest Montana Fair. Have you ever been to one of the local fairs?
Yes, I have been to the Kalispell Fair. Is this your first time?
No, I've been here for a couple of years and I really like going. My kids are showing their hogs. My grandkids are showing their hogs. Were you in 4-H?
I was. And a matter of fact, I was in the pigs side of that. What type of pigs do your grandchildren?
Ooh.
Oh, you caught me. I have no idea. They're black and white ones.
Oh, New Hampshire's.
So
Galloway pigs.
did you grow up here in Montana?
I sure did. I grew up in Great Falls and been here well, I guess still here. Um, is Where are you from originally?
So originally I am from the California.
I didn't hear that.
But I spend half the year now in Arizona. So a lot of people, I tell them I'm also from Arizona. Have you ever lived in any other states?
I haven't. Montana all my life. Where at in Arizona do you do you reside?
Okay. So you guys can see it's kind of tough, isn't it, Corey?
It is. And trying to remember at the same time so you're not repeating yourself.
Right. But so you could do that with just absolutely any topic, and you get used to that, and you start training yourself how to think in questions. So it's kind of a fun game. Play with your family, drive them crazy.
Well, so good. It's also answering, kind of repeating and approving, matching tonality, and then asking a question that moves the conversation forward while building rapport and learning more about them for a future close. It's just so very powerful. And just to get that cadence and timing in.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So, Linda, so when you are asking questions and whatnot, how are you just writing everything down and what parts of that do you put into your database for remembrance? Or do you put it in a database of any sort? Do you just keep it in a book?
So for a lead, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So for when you go to follow up with that person next and you have what you had prior, like, is that all in the database? Like, and if you do that, is there key notes that you take out of that, or do you try to keep all of it together?
So that's a really good question. I think the difference would be depending upon what kind of lead it was. So, for example, if it's a past client or a center of influence, they're already in your database, right?
Hmm,
And how often do you call them?
probably not enough.
Well, Mike recommends you call them at least every 4 times a year. So
Okay.
every 3 months, right? And so you want to maybe jot down a couple of words in your database about your conversation so you can find, hey, how's your mom doing last time I talked to you, blah, 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 right?
Mhm.
So those kinds of notes for a database. But let's say it's somebody that's maybe a call in or an expired or for sale by owner. I think I would be more careful about putting them into the database. And you'd be more careful about what you would call a lead there. Because what's the most important part of the lead follow up system? The
Uh,
trash can.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Right. So if I have a lead that is, let's say, an expired, I would write the notes down, like where they're moving to, how soon they want to be there. I'd write those types of notes down on a piece of paper. Of course, their names, because sometimes I forget that, and their phone number and their address. If I'm talking to a for sale by owner, I'll I'm usually talking to them on my cell phone. I'll put their name and the address of the property in my cell phone with FSBO next to it. So if they call me back, which I love about Montana, people actually call you back.
Yeah.
And when they call, I will know who they are when they call.
Mhm.
Awesome. Great. Any other follow-ups, guys, before we let Linda back into the stinky barn? Oh my
What
goodness.
does your schedule look like every day when you're prospecting?
So when I was working full time in real estate, and a lot of times it still looks like this when I'm in Arizona, I'll get up. I'm the first one in the office always. I usually spend about an hour, hour and a half before I do start prospecting with my pre-prospecting routine, affirmations, reading something or listening to something inspiring like this call. And I have it anchored like that so that I have to be there at a specific time. Then role play, jump on my prospecting. First calls are always expireds, then for sale by owners, then past clients, and then just listed, just solds, which I usually don't get to just listed, just solds because I talk too much. and the goal is to set an appointment every day.
Amen.
Then after that, lunch, admin, and either go home or go on an appointment.
Yeah. It's powerful. How important is getting things out of the way or connects out of the way in the morning? Do you find that people have a hard time going back to it in the afternoon just because life happens?
Life always happens.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the thing is that I mean, unfortunately, days are not always super positive. Some stuff can happen. You have to deal with the stuff in transactions, which right now is pretty heavy. There's a lot of stuff going on in transactions right now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, just dealt with that bad inspection, the low appraisal, the this or the that. Gosh, I want to go out and get another appointment. I want to go out and get another customer. No, you don't. So you kind of have to like start off fresh when you're strongest, first thing in the morning. You've had a great start to your day before all the crap of the day has gotten to you. And get that I got to go find more customers out of the way. You do it long enough, Jason, don't you feel like it's like brushing your teeth? Your day wouldn't be
Yeah.
complete without it.
Yeah, like they tell a story about me oftentimes at place when I'm doing trainings for them or I'm with our group where I train inside the infrastructure of place weekly, typically or every other week on expires and FISBOs. And they always tell a story about me, the whoever's moderating, that when I went to a Keller Williams family reunion and another story when we all traveled as a group to Lake Tahoe that while everybody was downing 63 pounds of bacon, which believe me, I got to, as you could tell by my former body shape. But if like I was sitting there and like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not on the phone right now moving my business forward. So I just had to go over into the corner of both of those rooms and at least talk to 3 to 5 expireds and for sale by owners or else I could not function. I could not think. There was an internal guilt. It just wasn't natural. I was a fish out of water. It just felt so weird. And so that's the thing that people remember about me when we're traveling is I'm constantly trying to move my business forward for my family, my future self, my goals, just so I can have peace throughout the day doing what I know that I'm supposed to do and just throw all those excuses aside. I think it's been a game changer for me. You should feel a certain level of guilt. You shouldn't get down on yourself or beat the hell out of yourself. But at the end of the day, we have a job to do. We promised we would do it, and we should just get right down to it.
Right. And when I have a new coaching client, somebody who's new to the idea of, reaching out and direct sales, calling people or talking to people, what if you just start with one?
Yeah,
Just do one.
yeah,
Ask one person that who they know that may be thinking about buying or selling, and
mhm,
and then call it a day. Just
yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's better than not doing it at all. And you could feel good about yourself. What if you did that every day? Okay, I'm going to make sure at least I ask one person. I'm going to go look at 5 properties, and I'm going to practice my skills.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, the more you practice, the less calls you have to make. It's just the way that it is. Now, a rare bird will do all that same practice and make tons of calls. I mean, imagine what that would do for your future. It's just so very powerful. But yeah, getting it in early, and throwing away the excuses of no one picks up the phone in the morning, this, that, and the thing. I have made my whole entire career. I can count on probably 4 hands how many times I've prospected in the afternoon. you know
Yeah.
I don't have 4 hands, but I guess I would have to do it twice. But it's always built my business on just 2.5 3 hours first thing in the morning. I never have to go back in the afternoon because typically I'll set an appointment because before I did those calls I practiced for an hour. So role play and just getting everything in before noon and then just shutting it off because all the time if you practice your skills and you make your calls you're going to have something going on in the afternoon appointment wise, and I do most days. Just because I've just been doing it long enough. And you also have to give yourself grace, right, Linda? Like you're not going to be a pro right away. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's compound interest.
Yeah.
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 Right. And just, I mean, at the end of every day, just look at the 1 or 2 or 3 things you did right that day.
Yeah. No. Measure
Yeah,
backwards,
I know.
guys.
And we get to go to work today. We get to go
Yes.
get on the phone. We get to go make calls, right?
Yeah. No calluses, zero. I have farm calluses, but I don't have any other calluses. I do not have mouth calluses. But this is a business where you can sit in an air conditioned or heated office, and all you have to do is simply talk to people. You're not outside landscaping or doing something like that, or spraying a tree for aphids, or outside mowing a lawn, or just doing something like that. So this is the greatest business. We can sit in a comfortable chair and create a comfortable life if we just are willing to be uncomfortable for a little while in the beginning until our skills are high enough or our confidence increases, for sure.
All righty. Well,
Awesome.
I won't keep
Thank
you
you.
guys. I know you're
Yep.
anxious to get on that first call.
Yeah, they get to make 20 connects today, everybody. They get to. It's just great. All right, everybody. So on three, we're going to say thank you, Linda. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you,
Thank
Linda.
you, Linda. And of course, it wouldn't be a Jason Baker meeting if I didn't say on three, 20 connects. 1, 2, 3. 20 connects. Come on, with enthusiasm.
20.
I get to hear no 18 times today, and I get to hear yes twice. All right, let's go to it. Only you can change your stars. Let's do that. Real quick gratitude. Corey, what are you grateful for?
Grateful for this meeting. That was very insightful stuff, Linda. Thank you much.
You clean up really, really well, dude. What the hell? I can see your face. Petra.
I second that. This is great. We really appreciate the time and the education.
Yeah, it's such a blessing to have a Mike Ferry coach on. There's no more powerful coaching company out there. Ben would kill me for saying that since he has forward coaching. But Amber, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for the processes and the tools that the team provides.
Look at that little cutie pie. Addie, iPhone Addie, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for you, Linda. Thank you. That was great. I loved how direct you were. I get in my head and overthink so much and just, hey, do you still want to sell your house? Like that that was like a breakthrough for me. So thanks.
I love it. Molly, if you're there, what are you grateful for? You have to unmute.
Oh, we are, Charles is here with me. We're grateful for having us here today. Yeah, thanks for letting us join.
Yeah, anytime. It's a great way to start the day. Let's see who else is here. Everyone else is Corey, Petra, Amber, iPhone. Sean, what are you grateful for?
Yeah, just a section about building confidence for a new agent. Definitely need to hear that. So it's been a month and a half. So just staying confident through it.
Yeah. Awesome. And lastly, I'm grateful for Jesus Christ. All right, let's have a great day. Let's go kick some ass. We'll look forward to talking to you later. Sean, stay on here with me, brother.
Yep, sounds good.
I'm going to go run to the restroom real quick. Let me turn off the recording and I will
Yeah, I'm
see
gonna
you
do
back
the
here.
same thing. I'll be right back.
I know we're getting older. We're getting older.
Right.
Thank you. Have
All
a
right,
good day.
love you guys. Let's go kick some ass today. Thank you, Linda. You're the
We
best.
get to kick ass today.
We get to kick ass today. We're going to fucking crush it. All right, talk to you later.
Awesome. Bye.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right. What's up, stud?